From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Good evening, everyone. Well, before we get to Kruger's Quickcast, for those of you that are going to stick around for the detailed, and I mean detailed forecast, we're going to break it down, everything about the storm. So here's what I want you to do. While I'm doing Kruger's Quickcast, you might have enough time to go get some of the microwave popcorn, throw it in the microwave, pop up some popcorn, get something to drink, kick back with a loved one, and get the information you need about the storm. But before we get to those details, let's get you through the quick forecast for those of you that don't necessarily want all the details. You just want to know what to expect tonight and tomorrow. All right, so let's start with what we can expect here for tonight. And temperatures are going to drop down. I think everyone in the valley will drop down below 60 degrees, in the 50s. Mainly dry, just the partly to mostly cloudy skies. We could see some thunderstorms for Siskiyou and eastern Siskiyou County, maybe a few showers off towards eastern, northeastern Shasta County, maybe even eastern portions of Tehama County as well. But overall, the main event's going to hold off until really tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. And you'll see that here in our deeper dive forecast. We'll get to that a little bit later. Out the door tomorrow morning as you're heading out, yeah, I think there may be a few showers here and there for some areas. But really, for the most part, I mean, this looks pretty ominous, doesn't it? It's not going to be that bad. Most of any showers will most likely be in places like the North Coast, say Trinity County, maybe even Siskiyou County. But the valley, probably not much. And of course, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, you should be dry probably most of the day tomorrow. But look at the temperatures in the morning. Again, a cool start to the day. All right, let's start off by talking about that flood watch that is. Now, it's mainly for the areas of the park fire and the surrounding areas. Mudslides and debris flows are going to be a concern, as we can see the potential for, now it looks like all of the fire could potentially see some heavy rainfall at a certain time. And that would probably be Friday night into early Saturday morning. And that would mean the potential for mudslides and debris flows around the fire. Highway 32, for example, Highway 36, for example. And of course, as you start kind of heading east of the fire as well. So these are things that you need to take into account if you live in that area or are planning on traveling through that area as well. You could run into some closures due to the potential for mudslides and debris flows. That's mainly Friday night, though, into Saturday morning. Chances for thunderstorms, this is basically saying, all right, you know what? This is where we have the best chance for thunderstorms to develop. That doesn't mean we won't see any outside of this area because, you know, we may see some activity around Chico, Willows, but that's mainly going to be Friday night. And you'll see that, again, in the deeper dive forecast. But let's just kind of go through quickly here for tonight and tomorrow. So as we go into tomorrow morning, remember I was talking about maybe a few showers here and there. Even Modoc County may see some activity early in the morning out towards the north and west, Siskiyou County, Del Norte, and Humboldt County. But you'll notice the valley just not seeing much going on there. And of course, not to mention to the east, going into Lassen County as well. What you'll notice, you see how we're starting to see some activity kind of moving in from the southwest, moving to the northeast. Scattered showers, thunderstorms in the valley, maybe a little bit of light rain over the entire park fire. Scattered showers and thunderstorms for Siskiyou County, but heavier rainfall making its way into the late afternoon, early evening for the coast, and not to mention western Siskiyou County and northern Trinity County as well. Heavy rainfall embedded in here and maybe even some lightning strikes as well. That continues into Friday night and pushes eastward. This is the band of rain here that will eventually establish itself over the park fire and could bring some heavy rainfall late Friday night, early Saturday morning, and that's when we have that best potential for those mudslides and debris flows. Again, we're going to go into that in the deeper dive forecast here in a bit. Tomorrow, there's a chance for showers, thunderstorms, especially for Red Bluff northward of the valley. Otherwise, just some showers. Best chances for thunderstorms south of Red Bluff will be late Friday night, early Saturday morning. Mainly dry to the east, even Modoc County, minus, of course, that slight chance for a few of those morning showers. And then Siskiyou, Trinity, Del Norte, Humboldt counties, showers and thunderstorms here. I'm not going to go too much into the timing when we look at the 7-day forecast. Just know that by Sunday, it's all 100% gone for the valley, and it's warming back up to the upper 90s to about 100 degrees. Now, for the coast, Inland and Weaverville, again, same story. All completely out of here by Sunday, and really for Saturday afternoon should be dry as well. That's also the case for Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and not to mention the Eastern Mountains. The best chance for thunderstorms for Alturas and Susanville will be Friday night and early Saturday morning. By Saturday noon, it's mainly dry for everybody, including Alturas and Susanville. All right, before we go into that deep dive forecast, maybe your popcorn's ready. You got a loved one with you, maybe a drink. Let's get ready to dive deep. But before we do that, I want to remind you that if you don't have the free Weather NorCal app, go to your app store, search for Weather NorCal, and download the app for free. You can track the storms from your phone with the radar. It also has this really cool aspect where once it gets to the end of the loop of the radar, it'll then take you out 2 hours, and you can get a projection of where that rain and thunderstorm activity might be. You can also watch the latest video forecast from the phone. You can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. You can get your neighborhood forecasts from the phone. It's all right there. Everything Weather NorCal has to offer is right there on the phone. I think you'll love it. Check it out. Okay, let's start that deep dive. Let's get into it. All right, let's break it down. Headlines: gusty south-southwest winds. We'll be talking about winds. We'll be talking about temperatures as much as 20 to 30 degrees below normal for this time of the year, especially in the valley. We're talking about heavy rain, gusty winds leading to potential for some flash flooding with the heavy rain, lightning and hail for some, not everybody, but some of us will see some of these aspects here. And then triple digits are expected to return to the valley by early next week. So we're going from 20 to 30 degrees below normal to temperatures back up to about 100 degrees for some of us in the valley. All right. We do have a red flag warning in effect through tonight. Okay, keep that in mind because the winds should start to die down. But even tomorrow, there is a bit of a elevated fire risk for the eastern Modoc County and eastern Lassen County. So despite the fact that these areas here will be dealing with the heavy rainfall and gusty winds, this will just be gusty winds, no rain. And that's why we've got that fire danger. This is what's so crazy about this storm, because we're talking about the potential for flash flooding, and we're also talking about the potential for fire danger, because that's an area that won't necessarily see much in the way of rain. At least it's going to hold off for a while. All right, so let's take a look at the winds. Again, you can see pretty gusty coming in from the west-southwest for the eastern mountains, even some pretty gusty winds for the valley, and winds pretty strong coming in from the south, 15 to even upwards of 30 miles per hour out along the coast. All right, so now we take you into your Saturday. The winds start to die down. So a little breezy off to the east, but at least we're seeing the winds begin to calm down. Now, one of the good things with this storm system is a combination of the cooler temperatures and more moisture moving in. We've got higher humidity levels. This is going to help significantly in the firefighting efforts of both the Boise fire and the Park fire as we go into the weekend. All right, so here's what I'm tracking. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are expected. Gusty south-southwest winds, periods of heavy rainfall, hail and lightning, and yes, snow as low as 7,000 feet. After this storm passes, we could be looking at a nice dusting of snow over some of those higher elevations. It's going to make for a beautiful sight. So here's your severe outlook again. And again, we talked about this earlier. This is the best chance. This is basically the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. That's their job. They look where the best potential for severe weather is. This is what they're saying. This is the best chance for thunderstorm development here in these areas in green. Now, some of them could get strong to severe, and that's certainly something worth watching as we go into Saturday. Now it's looking more, it was just from mainly Modoc County, but now it's heading south into Plumas County and Lassen County. That is for Saturday, and I'll tell you what, it's mainly for Saturday morning, because by Saturday afternoon, it's pretty much out of here. All right, now let's talk about the flash flood watch. You may recall earlier this morning, and even during the afternoon forecast, I was talking about most of the rain, heavy rainfall for the Park fire is expected to mainly be in the north end of the fire with much less rainfall to the south. It looks like now that has changed. When we look at the forecast models, you'll see that all of the Park fire could be looking at some heavy rainfall, especially Friday night into Saturday morning. This is when you've got the best potential for mudslides and debris flows. And that's why you've got to stay aware of that situation if you live in that area, because there may be evacuations due to that danger of those mudslides and debris flows on some of those mountain highways. So tonight at 10 o'clock, this is where the bulk of the activity will be. Elsewhere, mainly dry, but some clouds and maybe a few sprinkles or light showers. But that's it. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., maybe a few showers out towards western Modoc County, maybe a few light showers in eastern Shasta County. Heaviest activity will be off to the north and to the west. Watch this over here. We're beginning to see some more activity coming around the area of low pressure. So there's the thunderstorms over Del Norte County, Humboldt County. Thunderstorms beginning to develop at noon for Siskiyou County and even parts of northwestern Shasta County and into Trinity County. Dry for Modoc County, Lassen, and Plumas counties. Now we take you into the afternoon about 4 p.m. Once again, we're seeing that flow coming in. It's bringing in plenty of moisture and heavy rainfall for some. Thunderstorms for Siskiyou County, thunderstorms for Shasta County, including the Valley, thunderstorms in Tehama County, including Corning northward, and showers around Chico, Willows, and Oroville. And now at this point, we can't rule out a straight thunderstorm even as far south as Chico and Willows and Oroville. It's too close for comfort, right? But the heaviest activity is still off to our west. Not a lot of rain at this point for the Park Fire. Not much rain either off to the east in Modoc and Lassen counties. So you should be dry through a good portion of the day on Friday. Now, we take you into your Friday. Look at this. We're seeing some snow for some of those higher elevations. Snow on Mount Shasta, the peak itself, right? Thunderstorms, heaviest rainfall up to the north. Now, keep in mind, we got the Boise fire here. You can't really see it because it's kind of shaded in red, but that's the Boise fire. It's getting inundated with some very heavy rainfall. That's really going to help in the firefighting efforts of that fire, and not to mention showers and thunderstorms here for Redding, Red Bluff, Corning, maybe even Chico. Now we're starting to see the rain begin to pick up a little bit heavier in intensity for Friday evening at 6 p.m. And we're now beginning to see a few showers and maybe a few thunderstorms developing, especially in Modoc County. All right, 9 p.m. Friday. Look at that heavy band of rain, north end of the fire, but still some rain to the south of that as well. This is when we've got to start watching for that potential for flash flooding. Meanwhile, a line of some heavy rain, thunderstorms, gusty winds. There's the Boise fire still getting inundated with heavy rainfall. A bit of a gap between the systems, but as we go through Friday night into the midnight hour, there's that line actually losing some of its strength hitting the valley, but we could be looking at some thunderstorms from Redding all the way down to the west side of the valley here for midnight Friday night into early Saturday morning. That then pushes eastward, and as it heads up those mountains, up those foothills, we see that lift and it re-energizes itself, and we see heavy rainfall. Looks like over the entire footprint of the Park Fire. This right here, as we go into late Friday night, early Saturday morning, is when we get that best potential for flash flooding, mudslides, debris flows. This is why I mentioned, if you live in any of these areas around here, do know that there may eventually be evacuations due to that potential for those mudslides and debris flows. That can be a very dangerous situation. You need to be aware of that. You know me, I'm not an alarmist. I'm not one to overhype things. But this is something that if it does pan out like it shows right here, it could be a big problem. Meanwhile, behind that, look how things are really quieting down. But now, remember I was talking about Friday night, Saturday morning, Modoc County, Lassen, Plumas counties, now getting more in on that heavier rainfall and thunderstorms. Saturday morning, 6 a.m., eastern mountains, but elsewhere, not much activity. Now the Park Fire is in the clear of that heavier rainfall. Look at this. By 10 a.m., it's all pretty much gone by 10 a.m. Saturday. And then we just have to watch these clouds dissipate. Now, this is one thing I mentioned earlier, and I still don't want to rule it out. If we get these clouds to clear out sooner than anticipated, that could mean the potential for some afternoon convection, which would maybe mean a stray shower or thunderstorm for some of us, especially in the mountains. But at this point, Futurecast isn't picking up on it. In fact, it clears out even more as we go into Saturday night. Rainfall totals. Don't take these numbers to be exact. I always say that because you can't rely on that. But we could be looking at anywhere between a few hundredths to upwards of an inch of rainfall, depending on who gets caught under the thunderstorms. I think the bulk of the rain will be this area here, and also you can see some of the darker shades of green here. This is also where we'll see some heavier rainfall. So it probably won't be as plentiful in the valley, but places in Redding could see more than 1/1300ths of an inch of rainfall. It just depends, again, on where we see those thunderstorms develop and how long they stick around. Snow, yes. There's the peak of Mount Shasta, there's Lassen Park, there's the Warner Mountains. We're talking a few inches of snow as a possibility over some of the highest elevations. It's not going to be major, but it will make for a beautiful sight once the storm passes. All right, there's a look at the area of low pressure. There is the 20 to 30 degree drop in those temperatures that we typically see, or should we say that we normally should see around here. So temperatures in the 70s by Friday. Saturday, it very quickly shoots off to the north and east, and that's why by noon, most of the rain is gone on Saturday. And then this high pressure starts to build in. Temperatures increasing by Sunday, not to mention Monday. This high pushes northward, then eventually starts to shift to the east, and things stay right where we should be for this time of the year through most, if not all, of next week. Warmer than normal temperatures are expected in that long range, and there it is, getting back up to the upper 90s, which is around normal for this time of the year, and some of us could even touch 100 degrees at points during parts of next week as well. Wave heights will increase for your Friday. That's with the approaching storm system. But once we get into Saturday and the storm system exits the region, those wave heights will then once again begin to drop. But as of right now, there are no small craft advisories or hazardous seas warnings or anything of that nature. But you can see the winds are picking up. The waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 9 seconds and from the northwest at 3 feet at about 19 seconds. Okay, so here's what we expect here for tonight. Those temperatures in the low to mid 50s. Of course, the chance for showers and thunderstorms in Siskiyou County. You saw that a little bit earlier. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. I'm not going to go into the timing here. You know the story, right, at this point. And by the time we get into Sunday, it's all gone. But tomorrow, yeah, showers and thunderstorms, especially by the second half of the day for the North Coast. We take you up north, out towards Gas Key, about 64, 67 for Orleans. So much, much cooler out there than we've been experiencing, and much, or should we say, way below normal for this time of the year as well. Siskiyou County, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Modoc County, temperatures upper 50s to low 60s. I do expect dry conditions tomorrow for the most part, but some of those showers kicking in late Friday night into Saturday. Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, temperatures in the low to mid 60s, and we take you off into the valley. Now again, the valley should normally be looking at highs in the 90s. In fact, upper 90s. But how did 73 in Corning sound? Very nice, right? 73 out towards Biggs, 74 in Chico, up north, 70 for the city of Shasta Lake, 65 in Whiskeytown, and there's Palisadro, about 72 degrees. So there's your 7-day outlook for Redding. There, of course, is that chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. And then it looks like we are going to see everything dry out by Saturday afternoon. Sunday, warmer, back to the upper 90s to 100 degrees by Monday through Thursday. Well, that's your evening update. Be sure to check in tomorrow morning for my 6 o'clock in the morning update. Also, the latest information and interactive as you can get. You can ask questions about the approaching storm system on Coffee with Kruger starting at 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll see you then.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.